So welcome everyone, and thank you all for joining us here today. My name is Mechthild Röstorfer. I'm the Director for Sustainability, Technology and Outlooks at the IEA, International Energy Agency. It's my great pleasure to be your moderator today in that, for us, the fifth session of the day of the fifth Global Energy Efficiency Conference. I will do it together with my colleague here, Brian Motheray. So we started the day early, and some of our listeners are having listened to us the whole day in the different session. So we had Fatih Birol in the morning and the president of Georgia to start with what can energy efficiency bring to the global recovery. And then we had a couple of discussions during the day on how to boost jobs. We all know energy efficiency and in particular areas like building are job creator. So the buildings of job and support development, but also the importance of learning from best practice and strategies. So we had very distinguished speakers already today, discussions where we could learn a lot. But now this session, I'm very happy that we are focusing on international collaboration on energy efficiency and how can this international collaboration help us to make faster progress on energy efficiency globally. So we encourage you to join in. If you have questions on this session, please send them through to the email address that you will see on the screen in a minute to energy.efficiency@iea.org. We will include your questions during the session. And you can also Twitter and send us other means and join in the discussion via social media with the hashtag efficiency2020. You will see that on the screen as well. So we will also provide opportunities for audience participation throughout the day and in that session as well through live online survey questions. So if you haven't already done it, please look at the website of menti.com and enter the passcode, which you can see here on the screen, 541756. So let me start with one question that we know a little bit more about our audience. We all live in that virtual world, so we don't know who is in the room, but we would like to encourage you, please tell us what type of organization you represent. So if you could answer your answers in the Menti platform right now, and this will make us more focused in our replies, and then we will start in a minute. Once we have the outcome of that poll, we will start with the keynote speakers, which I already see on the screen. So it will be in a few seconds that we will start with the discussion. So the type of organization can be government, can be NGOs, can be companies, can be all kinds of stakeholders. We know in the energy efficiency world, it's a broad world, it's a heterogeneous world, and we have the day today to bring them all together in that conference, which will last the whole day, and we have one more session at the end of the day. So let me see if we have some outcome. Yes. So we have the main parts which make sense that is coming up is on international organizations or NGOs. That seems to be the main part of our participation, followed quite closely by representatives from government, be it national, state, or local. Then we have industry and business, a few consulting, a few people from academia, and a representative from financial, or very few representatives from the financial sector. So the big part of that session is coming from international organizations and NGOs, and closely followed by representatives of governments, industry, consulting, academia, and financial sector. I think that gives us an excellent picture on who is listening us and who will ask questions later on. So thank you very much for joining that poll. We will have some questions during the session. So let me now start immediately with the keynote speeches. We are very happy. We have a fantastic lineup of 4 keynote speakers, which are telling us in that session how international cooperation can work. I'm very happy to introduce Her Excellency, Ms. Kadri Simpson, who is the European Commissioner for Energy. We know the European Commission has leading a lot on recovery, on energy efficiency in particular. And let me add that I'm particularly pleased that the Commissioner has time to stay with us today, because there was a big opening policy conference and we had the pleasure to see each other a little earlier when the EU Sustainable Energy Week was launched. So I know the Commissioner had already a full day engaging with the stakeholders on a number of issues, including energy efficiency. So we are very grateful that you take the time, and I would like to give you the floor, Commissioner Kadri Simpson, please. Please unmute yourself, Commissioner.
I hope that now I am unmuted. Yes, thank you, Metin.
Thank you.
And well, I do understand that you have had very intense day full of good discussions. And this is actually the same here in Brussels. As you mentioned, we launched the very first virtual EU Sustainable Energy Week. So, but coming back to this event, I want to thank the IAA for inviting me to speak today at the 5th Global Conference in Energy Efficiency, because energy efficiency is an essential component of EU energy policy, and it is a key for the clean energy transition. And given the challenges we have faced this year so far with the COVID-19 outbreak, it will have an even bigger role to play in the future as we look to recovery. The European Commission outlined on May 27th our unprecedented recovery package to steer and stimulate the recovery in the EU, and to ensure that the recovery is sustainable, inclusive and fair for all. We proposed a new recovery instrument. This is called Next Generation EU, embedded within a powerful, modern and revamped long-term EU budget with a total financial firepower of 1.85 trillion euros. And it is a plan to repair the damage to our economy and our single market, but also to look forward and build a better future for the next generations. So we will face the threat of a changing climate. We still need to decarbonize our energy system, and it's because of this that our recovery package is centered around the Green Deal and digital transition, and thus energy efficiency has a key role to play in getting Europe back to its feet. The energy efficiency first principle remains our motto, to live and work by, but energy efficiency must be significantly scaled if we are to make our goal of a climate neutral Europe. So in particular, we have decided to prioritize greater energy efficiency in the building sector. Buildings are the largest energy consumer in the EU, responsible for 40% of energy consumption and 36% of greenhouse gas emissions. The need to further improve the energy performance of buildings, especially for the existing building stock, where big energy saving potential lies, is clearly indispensable for reaching the EU carbon neutrality target. We do have also energy efficiency and renewable energy objectives, and all the member states have proposed their national plans. In order to scale up renovations to the required levels, it is essential to ensure adequate financial solutions together with a solid regulatory framework to provide direction to our work. For that reason, the Commission announced the Renovation Wave initiative for public and private buildings to double the current renovation rates across the EU. We also want to improve the quality and climate performance of buildings along we will also tackle energy poverty, and we will support economic activities, including our construction sector, because this is very labor-intensive activity, and this creates jobs all across the EU. And we expect to publish a Commission strategy on the renovation wave already in September. And beyond renovation, the review and possible revision of the Energy Efficiency Directive can provide further options in our work going forward. At the same time, we continue to implement and improve EU eco-design requirements for products. Energy efficiency is a subject of common concern for many countries all around the globe, and it will be important to tap into all the potential that energy efficiency can bring, not only in Europe, but also around the world. And of course, there is no one-size-fits-all solution, so green recovery efforts will have to be tailor-made to the specific country context. This is why the Commission is particularly committed to international cooperation in the field of energy efficiency, building on our own experience facilitating cooperation among member states. And to date, we have long established platforms to support the exchange of best practice on research and innovations, such as concerted actions financed under Horizon 2020. We are streamlining energy efficiency in all our bilateral energy engagements, also with third countries, and we are promoting regional and bilateral cooperation, for example, in the energy efficiency actions agreed by the CESEC countries, a group of 9 member states, and 8 energy community contracting parties, and by the EU-China Energy Cooperation Platform that covers several actions in the area of energy efficiency. I also want to recognize the new Energy Efficiency Hub hosted by the IEA. It appears to be a promising platform to foster collaboration among countries on energy efficiency, and I welcome the reinforced tasks given to the Energy Efficiency Hub and believe we should continue to work to improve international energy efficiency cooperation and raising the visibility of energy efficiency in the global energy agenda. And in this context, the Commission has made its partnership with Africa a focal point of its international outreach. The way Africa will meet its energy needs will be crucial, not only for Africa, but also for the world. And energy efficiency has a special place in our energy partnership with Africa, as we know that it is possible to multiply the African economy fourfold while keeping the rise of energy demand under 50%. And we want to unite our efforts in energy efficiency policies and investments across all key sectors, housing, industry, transport, products, if we succeed our common objective of seeing Africa on a low-carbon sustainable development path by leapfrogging inefficient carbon-intensive technologies could be achieved. And in October 2020, we will be meeting with the African Union for a bilateral summit. This will be a unique opportunity to renew our strong partnership with African countries and reiterate these commitments. So, ladies and gentlemen, energy efficiency is the most immediate, cost-effective and universal policy option available to realize the goals of the Paris Agreement and, for us, the goals of Green Deal. It can significantly contribute to the recovery after the COVID pandemic by creating new jobs and strengthening industrial competitiveness. And it has immense power and potential, but that potential can be easily undermined without the necessary ambition to cooperate on an international level. And I hope that this conference and your discussions today will further solidify this cooperation and set us on the path to the energy efficient future we need. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Simpson. That was quite impressive, and we are well aware at the IEA on the leadership the European Commission has taken in energy efficiency. May I ask you a follow-up question? Because you already hinted to the fact that energy efficiency is part of the economy recovery, also by the proposal of the European Commission. How do you see this as an opportunity for Europe's competitiveness on the global stage? You mentioned job creation. What is in this recovery? What could strengthen Europe's competitiveness via clean energy and energy efficiency? Please.
Well, definitely it will strengthen our competitiveness, and we will guide our member states towards policies that will finance green investments. So for our multi-annual financial framework, there is a requirement mainstreaming that 25% of the finances should go to the climate goals. And for the additional Next Generation EU funds, 750 billion, member states have to propose their plans. And for me, it is very important that those plans, they have to be in accordance to the national energy and climate plans. So we will help member states to do necessary investments. And for us, the just transition is also very important, so that regions who have been heavily dependent on fossil fuels and mining sector will find new, cleaner industrial jobs, so that we can say that no region was left behind. And of course, we also promote investments into new technological solutions, innovative solutions, renewables, hydrogen, e-mobility, and again, energy efficiency. So altogether, this is 1.85 trillion. And I think that this is big enough firepower, but we need also private investments. And for that, we will launch alliances so that our private investors do know that our message is clear. By the year 2050, we will become climate neutral, and investments into the new technologies are wise investments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Thank you very much also for your additional replies. And thank you very much for mentioning the Energy Efficiency Hub, where the IEA has been setting up with the support of many partners of the IEA, including the European Commission. So thank you very much. Let me now turn to our next speaker, which is His Excellency Dr. Kwasi Kwarteng, who's the UK Minister of State for Business, Energy and Clean Growth. We are very delighted to have you here with us. I know we have been in contact in many occasions recently, and we are particularly pleased that you are here for this session at the Global Energy Efficiency Conference. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. I'd like to thank you, Ministerial, and the IEA for hosting this conference. I'd also like to thank Her Excellency Codry Simpson for an excellent opening statement. I thought it was really interesting, and there are a number of things that stimulated a lot of thought, I think. I also look forward particularly to the interventions from Dr. Jorge Rivera and our colleague, Mr. Sergio Costa from Italy, because I know that as Minister, he is the Minister of the Environment in Italy, and we will be close partners in jointly hosting the COP26 summit next year. So thank you all of us, thank you all of you for joining us for this discussion. I know we're in difficult circumstances, and the COVID crisis, the COVID-19 crisis, must not be allowed to get in the way of meeting our common goals. In the current context, I think COVID-19 is one of the two great challenges that we're facing. The other, of course, being climate change. The response to both of these crises should be rooted in science and innovation. As we look to recover from the COVID-19 crisis, the decisions we make today will either lay the foundation for sound, sustainable and inclusive growth, or unfortunately, they could lock us into polluting emissions for decades. We've got to make the right choice. As many of you know, we will be hosting COP26, the UK government in Glasgow, along with our Italian friends and partners in November 2021. Our COP presidency falls during the first significant test of the Paris Agreement, and the gap to 2 degrees currently stands at about 15 gigatons. We need more renewed and more urgent action. In this context, ladies and gentlemen, energy efficiency is, of course, absolutely crucial. As Kadri Simpson remarked in her opening statement, it is a subject of common concern, and it is also an essential component, as she said, in tackling climate change and improving what is a difficult and challenging situation. In this light, I warmly recommend and warmly welcome the recommendations of the Global Commission for urgent action on energy efficiency, and I look forward to seeing how we can all work together to make sure that we can reach effective action on this. Deploying energy efficiency policy when we're in a crisis is actually really, really important. It offers many quick win-win opportunities. It can boost the economy. It can create jobs, and it can also tackle fuel poverty, as well as meeting the grave crisis of international climate change. I think a good example of this is in the retrofitting of homes and businesses. I think in this area we can deliver huge benefits, as well as creating large numbers of skilled and semi-skilled construction jobs, which can provide a quick economic stimulus and boost consumer spending through energy cost savings. According to the IEA, your own organization, Ministerial, around 9 to 30 jobs are created in manufacturing and construction for every $1 million invested in retrofits or efficiency measures in new buildings. This is a huge opportunity for job creation. In your own sustainable recovery plan, I think you envisage that there will be something like $1 trillion of investment. That equates to just under 6 million jobs in building retrofits and efficient new construction. The opportunities in job creation, I think, are considerable. And not only will this investment drive the short-term stimulus required to boost our economies as we recover from the terrible affliction of COVID-19, but it will also deliver longer-term benefits of energy security, greater public health opportunities, greater resilience, and I think has the opportunity also to reduce inequality. Of course, all of this means that we should certainly be investing in energy efficiency. We should be working together to make sure that climate finance is available and to assure that countries have the technical assistance that they need so they can also capitalize on the multiple benefits of energy efficiency and building on existing commitments in the NDCs. We are very pleased to foster global coordination and cooperation in this subject, in this area. For COP26, we also want to use this opportunity to raise international action on the important area of product efficiency, which is obviously linked to that of energy efficiency. And we aspire to eliminate the least efficient products from the global market and also to secure the multiple benefits that adapting products in a more energy efficient way can bring. I think that in this area we can have greater coordination, greater cooperation among all of our countries, all of our nations, and we can work very hard, I think, to bring these benefits more quickly. I think this is all very well aligned with the recommendations from the Global Commission, and I think that actually improving the efficiency of high energy consuming products such as air conditioners, refrigerators, lighting and motors is absolutely critical to managing future energy demand and also, crucially, to reducing emissions. I think one of the things that we're very keen to do is to work very closely with you at the IEA and also our co-leads of the SEED initiative. That's India and the European Commission, to bring this action to fruition. By focusing our thoughts and our activity in COP26 through the SEED initiative, we will be working to coordinate the regional and global marketplace for high efficiency products. As I've said, these are mitigating the climate or the gas emitting effects of these products is critical. A range of regulatory information and incentive policies have been pursued across the world, including such initiatives as the minimum energy performance standards. I think, again, the coordinating action on these policies, and particularly on the MEPS, the minimum energy performance standards, will yield great results in terms of energy efficiency in a much more rapid way. I think for industry, the market can be simplified. For consumers, aggregate demand for high efficiency products will lead to cost reductions and greater savings. For government, I think it represents a challenge, but it will also facilitate enforcement and a degree of oversight on the production of these products. We're very happy, Ministerial, to participate in this forum. Very excited about what other people have to say, and also in hoping to foster and actually achieving a greater measure of cooperation and understanding on these critically important issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister Kwarteng. I think we learned a lot from you, and you had excellent examples. We also appreciate very much the leadership of the UK in driving the SEED initiative and the product energy efficiency standard under the COP26. We had already several dialogues and a meeting on that, but we really appreciate that leadership, and we are very much looking forward on all this initiative and others under the COP26. So if I may to ask you one question. So in your engagement globally on all these issues which you mentioned, what is the appetite for closer collaboration? Do you see there is a lot of appetite, or how would you explain to maybe improve it?
I think that's an excellent question, Ministerial. Thank you very much. I mean, I've been involved in formulating policy in the UK for a year now, and even in that short time, I can see a much greater appetite and a much greater conviction on the part of our partners across the world, ministers, think tank specialists, industry as well, to reach these initiatives. I think the issue of global change, the issue of energy efficiency is really right at the top of people's agenda in a way that 2 years ago, and certainly a year ago even, was not the case. So I think the actual atmosphere is very, very encouraging. I still think there's a long way to go. I think we're really at the beginning of this process in terms of international cooperation. So in summary, I would say that the outlook is a very favorable one, but we still have to work very hard to reach our targets, and we have to cooperate even more than we have done to bring success to fruition.
Thank you very much, and we are happy to help in that sense, obviously as well, to increase the appetite even further.
Thank you very much. It's very good, very effective.
Thank you very much, Minister Kwarteng. So we go to our next keynote speaker in that session, which is Dr. Jorge Rivera, who's the Secretary of Energy of Panama. The floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much. And greetings to all other participants of this panel, Minister Kwarteng, Commissioner Simpson, and Jessica, Charlotte, and Tina. For me, it's a pleasure to be here and maybe give you a view and another perspective from maybe a low income or a middle income country in the approach on energy efficiency, and mostly in this moment of the COVID-19 crisis. No, we can talk about, we don't have the chance to talk about billions or trillions of investments or budgets to help the recovery plan, but we can have the commitment to become more efficient, using the framework of efficiency in the use of our limited resources. So what we can do about energy efficiency, we were looking at the recommendations from the Global Commission, the Urgent Action on Energy Efficiency, and we agree on the recommendations. Some are very close of the tasks that we are taking here in Panama. And if we can say that we looked to the energy efficiency as a part of energy transition. We right now, since 10 days ago, we in the Republic of Panama, the Secretary has launched to public consultation our energy transition agenda. And one of the key strategies of this agenda is the energy efficiency agenda. You can say that for energy transition, mostly right now in the post-COVID or COVID-19 recovery plans, maybe renewables would be the backbone of this process, but we can say that energy efficiency, it could be the heart or maybe the mind of this, or the brain of this process, because in the energy efficiency tasks, we have, of course, a technology issue. We have a lot of opportunities of getting a better equipments and gadgets to improve the use of final energy, but also it has a really important matter for the behavioral, in the way of the people behavior on energy efficiency. So we know that we have the chance to work that, not only the technology part, but also the behavior part. In Panama, we had done recently, last year we had, maybe I can explain a little bit earlier, in 2012, 8 years ago, Panama has issued a law, an energy efficiency law, that had some results in these years. We had some programs that have been working. We have, for example, air conditioning standards on efficiency. We have them by mandatory and obligatory from January 1st this year. We can't import anymore under these standards air conditionings. And why is important for us? Because of our geographical and climate state. In Panama, maybe 30% of the final use of electricity, it's on air conditioning because of our humidity and our heat here. The average temperature here all year round, it's like 30, 31, 32 degrees Celsius. So the use of air conditioning is a big issue here for us. And we have a lot of chances, a big opportunity to make and gain energy efficiencies there, as I said, in behavioral, but also in technology. And also we have, last year, the publication, we had a sustainable building regulation, and this works not on the existing buildings, but on the new buildings that are going to be constructed here that we have to have from the next years. We want to introduce these designs, these measures for energy efficiency since the moment of the designing of the projects. So for us, that's an important step that we have done, and we're working with the counties, we're working with our local authorities that have the responsibility for this to implement this important regulation. Also, we have maybe in a talking about the collaboration in a regional level, we're working for example, in our own integration system here in America Central, in Central America. We have an integration of the 7 countries, and in this we have a body of energy ministers that regulate and state the policies, and we have had a sustainable energy strategy that had a time frame of 10 years that ended this year 2020. And yesterday, the body of the ministers, we had a meeting and we approved, after several months of working, a 2030 new energy, sustainable energy strategy. Now looking forward to 2030, aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, mostly the SDG 7. And as I said, the heart of this strategy is energy efficiency, and we're talking about some technical regulations also within this integration process. Also, we are working with Latin American energy organizations, OLADE, and we're working with them with some programs and projects especially specialized in the final use of energy. We need to improve and sharpen the diagnosis of our baseline on energy use. So we're working with them, and we're working a nice and beautiful program with the Kigali program here in Panama sometime from now, and we are expecting good results this year. So we're working this collaborative framework of energy efficiency. We need a lot of opportunities to get some know-how transfer, to our country with the characteristics that we have. So we are always looking forward to this kind of collaborations. Also, we have to, as I mentioned, we have this law since like the year 2012. But what we need right now is this strategy, as I said, a roadmap that can help us to go ahead, go further to this process. And we are working on an energy managers network that we have to develop, mostly in the public sector. We have a great chance to work with that. And of course, we need to improve our educational system, the concepts of energy efficiency or sustainable energy. So we're working with the Ministerial of Education of Panama in an agreement to go further with this. And also, as I say, I was watching the poll that you have done prior to our interventions, that there was something very unique, not maybe unique, but something that highlight that you had a great representations in this event of academy. You have a great representations of NGOs and governments, but the least representation that we have seen there was the financial sector. And for us, that is a key role, a key player that we need to get involved in everything that we're doing, not only but in energy efficiency, but also in energy transition, new business models that the ESCOs, the business model for all these kind of activities need to have a financial back, mostly banks here in our country, and we're working with them. We have a specific task line of work in progress with them in order to make them come to all these kind of activities and help them to address the actual risk, not maybe the way they are looking to the risks of this kind of activity. So we can facilitate from the government this kind of framework, financial framework, in order to develop new business models and the job creation that could be as a result, we have as a result of this, in order that I said that as I started, we don't have this budgetary capacity to go ahead with these stimulus plans, mainly focused or mainly based on public resources, but we believe that we can go with the market institutions and help us to go ahead with this task. And as last, I can just say that Panama agrees on the energy efficiency role of the recovery, economic recovery and job creation for this COVID-19 crisis. And of course, we are able and willing to enhance and strengthen the collaboration and the coordination and cooperation on a global, regional basis to get these things done and go ahead with our not only the advancement over this crisis we have right now of COVID-19, but also, and most important, on the major challenge that we have, not only as a generation, but also as a civilization, that is the climate crisis. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for sharing with us the experience of Panama. And I think that completes a little bit the picture of what we heard before. In your speech, you also mentioned the regional cooperation with some neighboring countries and so on. How do you see regional cooperation in your region, and what benefits it could bring for the energy efficiency work you are doing, and which you very well explained and outlined? Please.
Oh, thank you. It's a very good question. There are several, general opportunities and benefits, but I can mention one specific that we can gain, and we have done in the past years in this process of integration. It's called Sistema de Integración Centroamericano, or Central American Integration System. And this is we are little markets. When you have the global view, we add all the population from our country, we can maybe reach as 40 million people, with all the countries together. So we can create, with this cooperation and this regional approach, we can get some market study. We can improve the volume of the processes and the products and the procurements that we can get. And so that is a specific benefit for us, because the size of our economies and the size of our population. So that's a specific option that we have to get together and have better offers and specific opportunities to develop.
Thank you very much, and thanks again for sharing your views and what Panama is doing, and also the regional cooperation. Let me now go to the next speaker, which is the Excellency Minister for Environment of Italy, Mr. Sergio Costa. Unfortunately, Mr. Sergio Costa is not with us virtually, but he has sent us a video message. So if we can put the video message from the Minister for Environment from Italy, please, on the screen. Thank you.
Ringrazio per questo invito e voglio esprimere il mio vivo apprezzamento per il ruolo di riferimento svolto dalla Ringrazio per questo invito e voglio esprimere il mio vivo apprezzamento per il ruolo di riferimento svolto dall'Agenzia internazionale per l'energia sui diversi aspetti della transizione energetica, come l'abbattimento delle emissioni di anidride carbonica, le energie pulite, la ricerca, l'innovazione e l'accesso universale. Ringrazio per questo invito.
So maybe, as it takes a little bit of time to get the video message running, let me turn to Brian, who will introduce the panelists which we have, and we will start the panel discussion right now, and hopefully we can go back later to the video of the minister. Brian.
Thank you, Mechthild. So we will come back to Minister Costa in a few minutes, and thank you very much to Mechthild and to our excellent opening speakers, Minister Kwarteng, Commissioner Simpson, and Secretary Rivera. All of your remarks have been really inspiring and really set the tone, even literally, for a conversation about global collaboration, which we are having now. And I can tell you that our audience is drawn from more than 120 countries joining us in this global conversation. And even more than that, our three panelists.
Ringrazio per questo invito e voglio esprimere.
One of them had to get up very early, one of them has stayed up very late, very kindly, and one is more or less in our time zone. So you can judge for yourselves which is which. But we're very pleased to have three excellent panelists to continue this discussion around global collaboration.
Il mio vivo apprezzamento
per many people's minds around cooling, but we'll also touch on technology and the business perspective, and I know you'll be very
il ruolo di riferimento
panelist views. And I would remind
svolto dall'Agenzia internazionale per l'energia
to the panel members at energy.efficiency@iea.org. So you can email us your questions and we'll be happy to take them as part of the discussion. So our three panelists, let me introduce them. First of all, we're going to hear from Dr. Tina Bernpili, who's the head of the Ozone Secretariat.
Ringrazio per questo invito e voglio esprimere il mio vivo
by Jessica Brown, who is the Executive Director of the Kigali Cooling Efficiency Program. And last but not least, Charlotte Wang, the founder and CEO of eQuota Energy. So what I would like to do is ask each speaker to just give a couple of opening remarks. I'd ask you to keep them fairly brief so it leaves us some time for discussion, but you could introduce yourself, your perspective, make a few points, and then we'll open up the discussion. So Dr. Bernpili, Tina, I might start with you and give you the floor, please.
Thank you very much, Brian, and thank you very much for inviting me in this panel today. I'm very honored to be part of this panel, and I think this is a credit for the incredible work that IEA does on the energy efficiency front. I just want to, perhaps it's a bit awkward to see somebody representing the Montreal Protocol, an exclusively ozone treaty, in this discussion. And I think I would like to start by saying that this is a proof. As Commissioner Simpson said, one of the big challenges is scaling up. And in the international level, you cannot scale up unless you link different policy agendas. So in the morning, both Fatih Birol and Ajay Mathur have said that we have to manage, in order to manage a heating planet, we have to manage our cooling. And the Montreal Protocol, by trying to protect the ozone layer, is trying to do exactly that, to manage our cooling, because the coolants that we use are the gases that deplete the ozone layer and that also cause climate change. So just to give you a bit of perspective. So one of the ways of doing that and basically reap the benefits and ensure that by mitigating climate change, you also mitigate more climate change by ensuring energy efficiency savings, is to link those two agendas, the agenda for the ozone layer protection and the agenda for energy efficiency. And this is how we scale up action at the international level. The second point that perhaps I would like to mention was mentioned by Minister Kwarteng when he said that his investing on energy efficiency will bring more skilled and semi-skilled construction jobs in the workforce, especially amid the pandemic. And I think that this is another very important part of the work that we do under the Montreal Protocol, where basically we provide funding to service, to train technicians in order to be able to fix all the energy efficient, the products that we use, either air conditioners or refrigeration or other cooling project equipment. And the last point perhaps comes from Secretary Rivera. And this is another important element that he mentioned, that we cannot do anything at the global level and we cannot enhance cooperation unless we have funding. And exactly, the Montreal Protocol has been a model for 33 years now by providing funding to the developing countries, incremental funding to ensure that we provide technology transfer, we provide incremental transition costs, but also the big challenge for us now is how we link the two agendas and how we work closely with the financial sector, as he very correctly pointed out. Perhaps I will stop here and then I will be eager to follow up the discussion and intervene a bit later. Thank you.
Tina, thank you very much. And there's several points there I'd be keen to come back to in a few minutes. It's very, very interesting dimensions, but let's take the opening remarks of our other panelists so people know the context. So Jessica, I'm going to turn to you next. And again, thank you very much for joining us. Jessica is the Executive Director of the Kigali Cooling Efficiency Program. Jessica, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you so much, Brian, and thank you to all of you for those who have joined. And it's wonderful to be able to be part of this panel. I'm honored as well. I'm pleased to hear about all the great work that's happening around the world. As Brian mentioned, my name is Jessica Brown. I'm the Executive Director of the Kigali Cooling Efficiency Program. We are a global philanthropic collaborative made up of 18 foundations from around the world and $60 million. We support energy efficient, climate friendly cooling solutions around the globe. We focus on policy work at the national scale, finance work, as well as access to cooling solutions. And we are currently working in 52 countries in the developing world across the globe, across different actors, financial institutions, governments, et cetera. And from our experience at KSEP, we found that global cooperation and collaboration are just absolutely vital for making progress on energy efficiency and energy efficient cooling. First, just in terms of the creation of KSEP, it would not have been possible without first, of course, the cooperation of parties to agree to the Kigali Amendment, which in my view is one of the great successes of the last 10 years, if not more, in terms of multilateral climate policy. And second, cooperation was absolutely essential among these 18 foundations that came together to form the funder collaborative that became the Kigali Cooling Efficiency Program, which is really one of the major climate philanthropic collaborations of our time. And as Ms. Verpile just mentioned, the twinning of the F-gas phase down with energy efficiency really does allow us to double the overall climate benefits of the Kigali Amendment, which is just absolutely critical for us to make the necessary progress we need to fight climate change. So I'll pause there for now. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Jessica, and we look forward to discussing these issues. Let me turn next to Charlotte Wang. And Charlotte, again, thank you for joining us in not the most friendly of time zones for you. So we do appreciate you staying up to join us. And we're very keen to hear your perspective. So maybe you give us a few opening remarks that tell us a little bit about yourself and eQuota and your thoughts on this issue. Thank you.
Hi, thank you so much, Brian. Thank you so much, IEA, for inviting me to speak in this discussion panel. And it is a great honor to meet all of you and also the audience. My name is Charlotte Wang, founder and CEO of eQuota Energy. eQuota, let me describe what eQuota Energy does. eQuota is a AI-based big data analytics SaaS, software as a service company. We based in China, but the founding team are all from MIT. We have been served not only in mainland China, but also a few regions, Middle East, Southeast Asia, even Africa, to use the predictive maintenance, energy optimization to serve the clients like the building efficiency. Now we are entering the industrial side for the steel, cement, chemical plants, as well as utility, and to really use the latest technology with non-intrusive load monitoring, means we're not interrupted to their existing operation to bring directly the saving result. So for the past 5 years, really where we established eQuota, just for past 2 years, we entered the market. We already reduced 3.5 million tons of carbon, and also reduced the energy cost over 3 million USD with the people, less than 30 people. I think that we just demonstrate that the right technology, when we commercialize, we can bring the energy efficiency in a seamless way with low capital expenditure or zero capital expenditure to see the immediate result. Then for the discussion, I would like to look at the 3 ways, especially for us, we're a small company. When we're looking at the large scale, when we serve this big giant utility, big giant, the building and enterprise, as well as the industrial parks. So how those international collaboration can support our business model, and also many the startups or small companies like us, we feel like they really need the open mindset to collaborate and to welcome us with some right policy to allow us, even for proof of concept, to show the result, to show the immediately implemented result. When we cross the different borders, we see they're very tough, or we have to deal with the old policy. We just feel like it would be really good to have those collaboration mind there. And then how we created an environment for continuous support on the right business model. We see the SaaS, software as a service model, is easy to plug in, but how can we really work with the hardware? How can we deliver the high level of the energy efficiency around the world? We really touched the 4 different regions. We internally keep discussing on how can we speed up, and how can we, from this 3.5 million tons of carbon reduction for a company like us within 2 years, and our goal is to reach 20 million tons of carbon in next 3 years. So that's our small goal, and I'm sure with all of you representing a different country and a different program, you also have your goal for the climate change. Last but not least, and just to look at what particular protocol and standards that really from each of the governments, not only for China, but also the different region, how could collaborate with each other and to accelerate this progress when we deal with the climate change. I'll stop here and thank you very much.
Thank you, Charlotte. It's really inspiring, the nature of your business and the technical innovation, but also the business model innovation. And I might start with you with a question that's come in from our audience that I think is quite interesting. Given the nature of your work being online and digital based and often kind of about remote connection and data handling, is it a globalized business? Is there such a thing as a local market for the kind of work you do, or is it just one big planet for your kind of business model?
It's definitely, thank you. That's a really good question. It's definitely the remote service we provide. I will use the example when we served Africa. None of my team has an on-site operation. We really provide the module remotely, and then to have the data real time. And we can we work with the local, they provided the data real time. And with the past few years, the IoT, all those data available, all this struggle is how to analyze the data. And when you analyze data, could you give the output result to give this measurable, executable result? So those were the care. And when we provided a remote service and on the real time, and either on the cell phone or on the laptop, and then we can do a remote directly control or give them the real-time recommendation. Most of the first time the clients, enterprise, they choose to get recommendation, and then they will execute with their on-site operation team. Then later they like us to do the directly control because they can see the efficiency in real time. And then that's applied for the Middle East, the same as Asia area. So we don't have to have a large team. That's the beauty of when you go for the large scale. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. Jessica, could I ask you a question that's come in again to our email address that I think you might be interested in, which is around evaluation and measurement of success, because I know this is something that KSEP has been thinking about. So how do you think about measuring the impact of energy efficiency policies and programs and using that measurement to make the case, if you like?
Yeah, it's a great question. For us, we try and look at overall, how are we improving the efficiency of the policies, and how does that change the projected energy use compared to what would otherwise be the case? So comparing that with a reference case in terms of what a business as usual scenario would look like. So looking at compared with a business as usual case or reference case over time, which is easiest done looking at national policies.
Thank you. And Tina, if I could ask you a question, and there's a couple of dimensions to this. So Jessica, I'll be coming back to you in a second about the kind of KSEP moment, but let's start with the Kigali moment. And Tina, you deserve a lot of credit for the really global success that the Kigali Amendment was in terms of moving from the ozone focus of the Montreal Protocol to the climate focus that the Kigali Amendment represents, and therefore bringing in the energy efficiency dimension. And given that we're interested in learning how to do more global collaboration, what does the process of Montreal and the negotiation and success of Kigali teach us about how we can enhance global collaboration around energy efficiency?
Thank you very much, Brian. This is a topic in my heart. And of course, it doesn't have a very straightforward, it's not a recipe. It's the timing, and it's the momentum, and it's the people that are found at this particular moment together and agree to basically make a big leap in a convention that used to deal only with ozone, to make it also a climate change convention. Perhaps what I would like to say, summarizing what has happened at that point in time, is I think usually we have a very distorted notion of why negotiations take place. And I do believe that negotiations and difficult meetings and log meetings do not take place because people want to just negotiate the comma or the word or the specific sentence. They do negotiate that because they want to find solution to underlying challenges that exist in the respective countries. And I think that the Kigali negotiation showed us that if we try to really, really sort out and address the challenges that different countries face, then agreement can be reached. So there were many challenges that we were discussing at that point in time, and some of them were exactly related to the energy efficiency that we could benefit of if we go to one direction or the other. So the energy efficiency was put forward by different countries when they said that if you only make the transition to low global warming potential refrigerants, it will not be enough. So for these particular countries, they wanted something more. And this something more came into the fore from the energy efficiency. I want to say something and to recognize what Jessica said. KSEP at this point in time has a life on its own. But at that point in time, when Kigali was negotiated, philanthropists came together and they offered a package on energy efficiency. And this package at that point in time was a sort of a catalyst. It was not, of course, the main thing, but it was just a small catalyst that assisted the whole process to go over. So basically what I would say, and perhaps with this I should stop, I would say 4 things. First of all, bringing together different policy agendas that exist at the international level to scale up action. Second, connecting what is happening in the international policy agenda with initiatives that happen at a local and national level on energy efficiency in this point in time. Third, using the implementing agencies like the World Bank, like the UNIDO, like UNEP, big entities, big universal entities on the ground to make assessment studies and take advantage of different policy options that exist in different policy setups. Fourth, it has been mentioned, and I really feel that this is a very important contribution from IEA, the Energy Efficiency Hub. People want to know what others have been done in the specific policy agendas, and they want to build on these lessons learned. And this cannot be done when we discuss internationally, but it can be done when we have this information in front of us. And finally, the fifth, and I think this is where we're lagging behind, how you connect public policy, public funds with private funds. The Montreal Protocol and the implementation of Kigali Amendment will be successful and have been successful because we have investment. We have donor countries contributing to recipient countries for doing specific, for attaining specific objectives within the Montreal Protocol. We cannot, and we haven't addressed energy efficiency, but possibly we could do that if we have other funds to match the existing funds that are being given by the multilateral fund. And this is somewhere where we feel that the work that KSEP does is very, very important to complement our policy agenda. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tina. Minister Kortang, I wonder if I could bring you back in on this question, because you're really at the heart of global thinking about global collaboration, being in the position as COP presidency and inheriting something that is, shall we say, complicated, and the nature of trying to encourage collaboration and sell the value of it, and sell the value of countries working with each other, learning from each other. What is your strategic thinking in terms of how you drive that forward via COP, and of course through UK's own leadership in this area? I'm sorry, Minister, we don't hear you quite yet. We'll just fix that, I hope.
Problem. Are you all right?
We have you now. Thank you. We have you
now. Great.
Now.
I mean, I was very struck, if I may say so, by the remarks, the closing remarks that Dr. Tina Bempili made regarding not only international collaboration, but also collaboration between the private sector and the public sector. Because this isn't something which either the private sector exclusively or the public sector, i.e. governments and even local governments exclusively can handle. There has to be a collaboration, not only internationally, as we're doing in this excellent forum today, but there also has to be, which is international collaboration, there also has to be a collaboration within each of our own countries and jurisdictions between different sectors, between the consumer as well, the private sector in form of business or banks or whoever, and also government. And I think that was a very well-made remark. And I think certainly in COP26, and I'm working very closely with Alok Sharma, who is the president of COP26 here in the UK, we're working very closely to figure out how we can drive that collaboration, that agenda of collaboration, not only on the international forum, which obviously is absolutely necessary, but also between different sectors within the domestic economy and the domestic governance of the UK.
Thank you, Minister. And Secretary Rivera, I'd like to ask you a related question, because I know Panama is showing a lot of leadership in the region and encouraging regional collaboration. And my question is, for a topic like energy efficiency, is it something that you can learn from every country in the world, or is it only countries in your immediate region? Is it only countries of your size? How do you think about who you can learn from and how you'd like to exchange with different types of countries?
Oh, thank you. That's quite a question. And of course, we are doing benchmark for all the tasks that we have, we're developing not in the transition agenda, not only in the energy efficiency. We also have a renewable energy strategy. We have electric mobility strategy. We have a universal access strategy. There are some of the strategy that we have in the agenda. So we are working, of course, in this benchmark of maybe the state-of-the-art options, but of course we have to get that and bring it to our reality. So we're working on that. We're working on this. We have this south to south cooperation that we can go ahead. We're working a lot with that in the Latin America Energy Organization. We have maybe as a transverse axis of work. No, it's this south to south collaboration, and something that we can mention specifically and as an opportunity to go ahead with this kind of proposals is that we haven't mentioned is the chance that for us to go ahead on the research and development processes that needs a lot of money, a lot of resources to get some viable products or systems. And for us, it's really, really hard to get that resources and put it into research and development. So we can think about a global or maybe a regional level to get together some the scarce resources that we have and put it in regional progress. No, but for example, maybe one country could focus on one of the tasks and the other ones in others, so we cannot duplicate our national efforts and scarce resources. So that know-how transfer from the developed countries and regional organizations or international organizations could be a great opportunity to make this frog leap in the way that we manage or the way that we approach to the research and development in a knowledge society that we are working right now, and the impact of this kind of collaboration activities can bring to our realities in countries like the one like Panama.
That's very interesting. Thank you very much, Secretary Rivera. And Commissioner Simpson, if I may ask you one quick question, because Tina Bimpili raised a very interesting point about finance and the need to drive both public and private finance for the kind of initiatives and policies we're talking about. And of course, this is more current and urgent than ever in the current crisis. And I know you've been thinking about this. So maybe you could say a word about how you think about how to drive both public and private finance to support the policies you want to put in place. We don't have you quite yet, Commissioner. We're just, there you are. Yes, thank you. No, I spoke too soon. I'm sorry. Sorry, Commissioner, we don't hear you yet, but we'll fix that just now. Apologies.
No, now I managed to do it. And this is a challenge to use different platforms for different meetings, but well, we will manage. So your question was how we will manage to leverage both private and public funds. And this is something that we have to do because, well, if we want to achieve here in Europe our big goal, climate neutrality by 2050, then the necessary investments are way too bigger than our funds. Combined national stimulus packages and well also EU-wide recovery package. So what we can do? First of all, we can convince our private sector that investing into new technologies and innovative solutions, this is something that brings you growth, and this has been so from the first day when we launched our Green Deal initiative. This is not only our climate initiative, but this is also our growth strategy. And if I will take it to the global level, then from our point of view, we want to lead by example. So if we will achieve significant savings for our private sector and also for our consumers, then we can share best practices. We will do so here at EU level. We will promote good solutions, being them from research and innovation field or even in industry. But we will also use our international dialogues. So there are lots of energy dialogues, active energy dialogues. Just yesterday we had a very good dialogue with Chinese counterpart, and we are always also promoting our Green Deal and higher goals. And we do offer our experience and our technological solutions. So I think that doing so, all the regions should be interested about savings and should be interested about growth. So doing so, we will achieve globally, but we need to. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I think that will be one of our takeaway messages for today. Everybody should be interested in savings and everybody should be interested in growth. And of course, energy efficiency does that. So colleagues, I'd like to return now to an important keynote that was delayed from earlier, which is Minister Sergio Costa of Italy, a great friend and partner of the IEA and a great global collaborator in the context of COP and more widely on energy and climate matters. So we have a short video from Minister Costa that we'd like to share with you now.
Ringrazio per questo invito e voglio esprimere il mio vivo apprezzamento per il ruolo di riferimento svolto dall'Agenzia Internazionale per l'Energia sui diversi aspetti della transizione energetica, come l'abbattimento delle emissioni di anidride carbonica, le energie pulite, la ricerca, l'innovazione e l'accesso universale all'energia. Il Covid-19 ha avuto un impatto drammatico su vite umane, realtà economiche e sociali, ma ha confermato che la transizione verso un nuovo paradigma è indispensabile e che a questo traguardo si arriva solo con la collaborazione di tutti. Anche sui temi energetici la cooperazione globale è fondamentale nell'ottica di garantire accesso universale ad energia pulita, sostenibile e sicura e di contribuire concretamente al raggiungimento degli obiettivi dell'Accordo di Parigi. A questo proposito vorrei sottolineare con soddisfazione il risultato raggiunto dalla collaborazione tra l'Agenzia e l'Italia, grazie a un progetto significativo su un tema attuale, quello della digitalizzazione delle infrastrutture nei paesi in via di sviluppo. Con il progetto Infrastrutture Energetiche Smart ci siamo infatti impegnati a facilitare la diffusione in altri paesi di sistemi digitali e intelligenti e ottimizzare così l'interazione tra le diverse componenti del sistema elettrico sulle infrastrutture. Il progetto intende contribuire ad accelerare il percorso di transizione energetica soprattutto nei paesi emergenti, nonché a favorire la progressiva crescita globale delle energie rinnovabili e dell'efficienza energetica. L'Italia dedica da sempre grande impegno all'efficienza energetica. A livello nazionale, infatti, vi sono forti sinergie fra i vari ministeri e il nostro settore privato vanta grandi eccellenze in materia di digitalizzazione delle infrastrutture. E la collaborazione con l'Agenzia, soggetto autorevole e capace di sviluppare politiche trasformative di impatto, è determinante nel garantire il successo dell'iniziativa. In Italia, nell'ambito del Piano Nazionale Integrato per l'Energia e il Clima, presentato alla Commissione Europea nel dicembre del 2019, puntiamo al 2030 ad una riduzione dei consumi energetici di oltre il 40% rispetto all'andamento tendenziale preso a riferimento dalla Commissione stessa. Sul piano economico, ridurre costi e consumi di energia Significa recuperare capacità di competere, contendere quote di mercato, creare occupazione verde, sviluppare tecnologie innovative, insomma un circolo virtuoso che può e deve giocare un ruolo di primo piano nel rilancio del nostro Paese. Ci sono ancora ampi potenziali da sfruttare. Nell'industria la necessità di mantenere la competitività sta già spingendo le imprese italiane in questa direzione, mentre i settori come l'edilizia civile e i trasporti occorre che cambino passo. Pochi numeri, per esempio, per rendervi l'idea. Circa la metà del risparmio energetico previsto nel decennio tra il 2021 e il 2030 del Piano Nazionale Integrato Energia e Clima viene dal settore civile, cioè residenziale e terziario. Questa prospettiva è d'altronde giustificata dagli ampi margini di miglioramento del nostro parco immobiliare. Pensate che il 60% ed oltre degli edifici residenziali è stato costruito prima degli anni 70, quando fu emanata la prima legge sul risparmio energetico, e quindi sono da efficientare. Vogliamo imprimere una svolta alla profondità degli interventi sinora eseguiti dai privati sugli edifici, per passare da una logica di interventi parcellizzati ad una di interventi che sono più complessivi e che siano combinati tra di loro. Oltre ad un risparmio energetico maggiore in termini assoluti, si generano così sinergie che migliorano il rapporto costi-benefici degli investimenti attivati. Per favorire tutto questo serve un adeguato supporto finanziario che incoraggi interventi con costi iniziali elevati e tempi di ritorno relativamente più lunghi. In questa direzione si è già mosso il governo italiano con alcune importanti misure. Per esempio, con la recente legge chiamata Rilancio abbiamo introdotto un super ecobonus che già prevedeva detrazioni fiscali in ragione del 65% per gli interventi di riqualificazione energetica degli edifici dei privati cittadini, ma adesso addirittura è stato portato al 110%. Quindi c'è addirittura un guadagno ulteriore. Nel disegnare questo potenziamento della misura si è pensato a premiare questi progetti che includono interventi con impatto energetico importante. Si passa addirittura di 2 categorie energetiche. E poi addirittura d'arrivo il decreto attuativo per la riapertura del fondo di Kyoto, che concede prestiti a tasso agevolato, lo 0,25%, per la realizzazione di interventi di riqualificazione energetica di tutti gli edifici pubblici dello Stato italiano. L'accesso in precedenza riservato ai soli immobili ad uso scolastico è stato esteso per esempio alle strutture sanitarie, pensate tutti gli ospedali, piuttosto che a tutti gli impianti sportivi. I progetti finanziati devono conseguire un miglioramento nel parametro di efficienza energetico dell'edificio per almeno 2 classi. Ci stiamo muovendo anche nel settore dei trasporti, contenendo il fabbisogno di mobilità privata con consumi energetici, per esempio le ciclopedonali, lo smart working, favorendo il passaggio a modalità di trasporto pubblico condiviso, il carpooling o il car sharing, accelerando il passaggio da gomma a ferro, con poderosi investimenti per esempio in tutto il settore delle ferrovie. Tutti questi interventi per l'efficienza si combinano con le altre linee d'azione per la decarbonizzazione, creando sinergie importanti dal punto di vista ambientale e con un potenziale impatto significativo sul piano economico-occupazionale. Gli interventi di riqualificazione degli edifici e quelli in tema di mobilità si accompagnano ad una progressiva elettrificazione, con conseguente maggiore penetrazione delle rinnovabili, che nei nostri piani dovrebbero arrivare a pesare nel 2030 per almeno la metà dei consumi elettrici finali. A sua volta, la transizione prevista della generazione elettrica da un modello fossile centralizzato ad uno rinnovabile diffuso richiede un progressivo adeguamento delle infrastrutture energetiche, con importanti ricadute a livello di sistema. Si genera quel circolo virtuoso ambientale economico che crediamo fermamente possa e debba essere al centro della ricostruzione e del rilancio. Infine, il nostro impegno per l'efficienza energetica, come testimonia la concreta collaborazione con l'Agenzia, travalica i confini nazionali. Siamo stati membri attivi della coalizione per la transizione energetica al summit sul clima dello scorso settembre a New York e porremo anche questo tema al centro della Pre-COP e della Youth for Climate, l'evento dei giovani incardinato nella Pre-COP, che organizzeremo a Milano nell'autunno del 2021, nel quadro del partenariato con i britannici per la COP26. Nella Youth for Climate si vedranno i giovani per la prima volta passare dalla protesta alla proposta, proponendo la dichiarazione dei giovani della Terra e confrontandosi con i governi del pianeta. Vogliamo così mettere a disposizione di tutti il nostro riconosciuto modello di efficienza energetica. Grazie.
Thank you. We all listened to Minister Costa, and the IEA is working very closely, and we are very grateful for the Italian government on the issue of digitalization, on the issue of smart grids and energy efficiency. We work not only with the Italian government, but with a broader range of countries and industry and research organization on a project around smart grids and energy efficiency. So thank you, and we were all listening to Minister Costa. Time has been running out, so I think we need to conclude this session. And my role is basically to thank all key speakers, panelists. So I would like to thank Commissioner Simpson for being with us and sharing the views of the EU, Minister Quateng, Dr. Rivera, Dr. Biampilli, Ms. Brown, Ms. Wang, and the Minister Costa, who couldn't be with us, but we just listened to that. So all the discussions we had today will feed in our policies. And let me remind you, as Dr. Fatih Birol started the day, that will give input to our work on energy efficiency, but more broadly to the IEA Clean Energy Transition Summit, which we are organizing on the 9th of July, virtually again, where we hope to get input from the European Commission, from UK, from COP, from many other countries and key players which had been speaking today in that virtual summit. So that will be an important occasion, but let me now thank not only the speakers and the panelists, but the whole team here, Energy Efficiency, Brian and the team for organizing this session. It has been very interesting, very fruitful, and we are very happy. Today is the Day of Women Engineers Global Day, and I see more women on my photo screen than male speakers, so we can celebrate all together. But thank you very much for joining us, and thank you very much for your great input, and looking forward to see you again, maybe in person. Thank you.